So for round 2, you're going to join your yarn in any gap between these stitches. So I'm going to go with this nice red. So for round 2, find a gap, any gap between the stitches. So pull those posts apart and find a hole. Let's go. Here's my tail from last round. I'm going to go over here away from it. Put your hook into the hole, so we're not going into stitches. Just through that gap. Hook onto the yarn, so put a nice loop of your new colour onto your yarn. Pull that through to the front, so you've got a loop coming through. And then make one chain to secure it. I don't include that in my next part, so that is just a securing chain. Then you're going to chain 3, which is your first pretend double, and make 1 double crochet in that same space. So the first part of round 2 is a chain 3 and a double crochet. Then you chain 1, and now we're going to hop into the next gap. So after this post here, find the next gap along. So here's the post, here's the gap, and in there we're making, in US terms, a 2 double crochet cluster. In UK terms we call it a 2 treble crochet cluster. I'm going to talk you through that nice and slow. Yarn over into that gap, pull the yarn back through. So just like you're starting a normal double crochet, US terms, you've got your 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, come through 2. You're going to leave those 2 loops there and you're going back in the same gap. So leave those 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, back in the same gap, pull the yarn back through. Now you've got 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, come through 2 of them, and that leaves 3 loops. So in this same gap here, you've got 2 little posts that started but not finished, and this is going to make the cluster part. Yarn over through those 3 loops, and that looks a little bit like a petal, I always think. It gives you a nice oval shape. So you've got your chain 1 and your 2 double crochet cluster. Chain 1, and let's go through that once more. In the next gap, do the same again. Yarn over, into the gap, pull the yarn back through, gives you 3 loops. Yarn over through 2, yarn over, back in the same gap, pull the yarn back through, gives us 4, yarn over through 2, leaving it with 3, yarn over through all 3. Don't forget the chain 1, and then continue around doing exactly the same in every space. So you do your 2 double crochet cluster, and then you do a chain 1 in every space around, which is going to give you 12. Very pretty this round. Find the gap, do your cluster, chain 1. Don't worry if it cups up a little bit this round. Next round we'll sort that out. Really enjoy this round. I'm going to keep demonstrating because when we get to the end there's something a little bit different about the place where you put your slip stitch. So you go through at your own pace, making your clusters and your chain 1s, cluster, chain 1, cluster, chain 1, final cluster, chain 1. Okay, so we've gone all the way around. Now for this final slip stitch to fasten off this round, you're going to skip over the chain 3 and find the V of the first double crochet you did. Push your hook under that V and make your slip stitch in there. So grab the yarn and come through there and through the loop on your hook. That's to try and make that resemble a cluster as much as possible. Fasten off. Before I fasten off, I'm going to choose something which is a tip I've learnt from many practice runs, and make sure I've got 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Very annoying if you get further down the line and you haven't got 12. Fasten off, pull it out, on to round 3 in the next clip.